Eddy Kaihura, the suspended and disgraced CEO of AFRINIC, is adding to his infamy by trying to mastermind a plot to bypass resource members and secretly appoint directors nominated by the ATU, African Telecommunications Union. A series of court documents have been uncovered, and viewers, please brace yourselves because this is about to be a bumpy ride. These court documents show Mr. Kaihura asking the ATU to appoint candidates that will act as directors of AFRINIC. If you've been paying attention to our last videos, you'll know one thing. This is illegal. Imagine Cyril Ramaphosa, the President of South Africa, asking the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom to choose Senate members for South Africa. It makes no sense. Why would the ATU interfere and appoint candidates? With this move, Eddy is saying that he doesn't respect the right of any resource member as well as the bottom-up process that governs the RIR system. Why else would he ignore the bylaws that clearly state the resource members are entitled to a free and open election and must choose their own directors? Directors cannot simply be appointed, as this goes against the very nature and fabric of AFRINIC's own bylaws. But hold your hats, because it gets worse. Through extensive research, we've discovered that one of those candidates proposed by the ATU is shockingly involved in multiple fraud proceedings. No surprise there, seeing as all Eddy's friends and partners seem to be involved in one fraudulent scheme after another. Eddy respects no one, and he doesn't answer to anyone. And this strange and unbelievable story, however, gets even darker. Eddy himself has decided to sue AFRINIC in court, if you can believe that. He filed court documents against AFRINIC in which he requested the Supreme Court in Mauritius to appoint the candidates from ATU to be the directors of AFRINIC. In the court documents submitted, Eddy confirms that AFRINIC lacks quorum, which means that AFRINIC is not able to take any action to defend itself from Eddy's actions. But it also means another thing we've been saying for so long now, that the board seats held by multiple members and directors are illegal. So in a strange twist of events, Eddy admits that we were all right all along, but he also goes as far as suing the very organization he was once meant to serve. The irony of this story explains itself. To think that Eddy himself is still being held in contempt of court for not heeding the court order and stepping down as AFRINIC CEO or director, whatever term he's playing with. Yet he wants those same courts he disrespected to agree to his requests. Absolutely shameless. Eddy's actions do not stop at AFRINIC. No, it is the start of the domino effect. Eddy's behaviour doesn't only affect AFRINIC, it endangers the entire RIR system. By suing the same organisation he once used to run, Eddy is making a mockery of the RIR system, and by asking the ATU to appoint the directors of AFRINIC, he's defying the community-driven bottom-up process on which RIRs were built. He's actively stripping the community members of their rights to nominate and vote for their own director through a free, fair and open election. Making an unusual request by asking a governmental body to interfere in the RIR system is exactly what the whole RIR has tried to avoid for decades since its creation, in order to keep it as independent and to keep its non-partial status. We must therefore ask an important and difficult question. If the ATU successfully appoints the director for AFRINIC today, what's to stop the ITU from doing the same for RIRs? This debacle serves as a fatal and dangerous warning sign, an example to other RIRs. If this is allowed to happen, a string of similar appointments may take place as a result. This strips the RIRs of all their independence and autonomy. These new developments and requests made to the ATU are exactly what the whole RIR has tried to avoid for decades since its creation. In order to keep its independent, non-partial status, governments should not be involved in this matter. We cannot and should not allow this one man to run amok and roughshod on the justice system in Mauritius and completely ignore the bylaws of the organisation that gave him a chance to become a household name. We cannot allow him to create a precedence that will ultimately end with the RIRs being stripped of their independence and autonomy. Many of you watching now will be thinking of yourselves, how do we discover the dastardly plan of his? It was purely by chance. A declaration was posted on the AFRINIC website, but was hastily deleted. However, it wasn't deleted fast enough because many resource members and the concerned internet community at large got wind of it. And through investigation, we learned that Eddy is trying to bypass the election that gives members an opportunity to have their voices heard in an attempt to appoint 4 directors suggested by ATU as elected directors. His behaviour shows that he's desperate and ready to do whatever it takes to hold on to his false leadership at the cost of ruining the entire foundation of the RIR system. If RIRs are to abandon the bottom-up process, which they've followed for so many years, and get the diplomatic status from being a part of ITU or ATU, what's the point of so many years of resistance for these organisations? We cannot let the fundamentals of the RIR system be ruined by one man's wrongdoings. All members of all RIR need to call for an immediate action to stop this. And all the matters shall be solved through the means of a fair, open election. We must come together and stop this once and for all.